Hello everyone, welcome back to a continuation of this video series on debunking the claim that there was a person by the name of Muhammad that matches the traditional Islamic narrative that he did exist in the Hejaz region between Mecca, Medina, and even northernly in the Arabian Peninsula in the 7th century. Today we're going to take a look at one of those claims that are used by our Muslim friends allegedly to support such basically notion that this person did indeed exist in the 7th century. Of course, we're talking about the claim that is used in reference to Thomas the Presbyter. And with me here to debunk this claim is Dr. J. Smith. Dr. J, so Muslims, like you stated, use about 16, maybe even exactly 16 claims so far to try to prove that their Muhammad existed in the 7th century, where he should be, basically. One of those claims is by Thomas the Presbyter. So what is that claim about?
Okay, before we get to Thomas the Presbyter, let's go up to where we ended the last episode.
The map, yeah.
I'm going to go back to the map again, take a look at it, look at the slide here, and notice what we said in the last episode. Let's remind ourselves. Everything we're going to find, including Thomas the Presbyter and all the other 15 claims, are going to be up in the orange area where the red arrows are. They're all going to be up too far north. We're not going to find any of them from the brown area, and certainly not from Mecca and Medina, in the Hejaz, the central part of the brown area, where he has to be. To be the Islamic Muhammad, to be the Muhammad the Muslims are looking for, the one who received the Quran and lived in Mecca, he has to be in that brown area. We're going to find he's nowhere near that area. All the references, the 16 references, are going to have him much further north. So let's go with the first one, and let's start with Thomas the Presbyter. So there's Thomas the Presbyter, and he's writing around 634. Now, what he writes, he then revises later on. This is revised later on in the 8th century. But this is what he says. He refers to a battle between the Romans and the Tayaye d-Mhmt, with a T, which happened east of Gaza in 634. First problem right there was Muhammad living in 634? The Islamic Muhammad.
He's been dead for 2 years by now.
So he dies in 632. So how could he be involved in a battle already in 634 after he's dead? Unless, of course, he comes to life again as a ghost. But that's the first problem right off the top. The second one is, look at the word Mehmet. This is the Persian spelling of his name. So this is not the Arabic spelling. This is the Persian spelling of his name. Again, the name is a title. Remember,
right.
This is the praised one, Mehmet, in Persian. But look, he is the Tayaye. Who are the Tayaye? We'll take a look at the slide again. The Tayaye are from where I've just circled it. Let me just circle it to me. The Tayaye are from way up there. That is in what is today northern Iraq. That is in Tikrit, in Mosul, where the Iraqis, where ISIS got a hold of, and where we saw them in these battles just recently, in 2014. Yeah. That's way up in northern Iraq. Notice that. So the Tayaye dominated the Lakhmid region. They were Persian-speaking. That's why they used the Persian spelling of the praised one. So the area of Mesopotamia became known as the Tajikistan in the 7th century, which is the land of the Tayaye. That's who he was. He was from that area, and he was the praised one. Note on the map, in the circle, the red circle, where the Tayaye are located hundreds of miles too far to the north, in what is today Iraq, to be the Muhammad of the Hejaz, or certainly the Muhammad of Mecca. Now, interestingly, he fights in Gaza, yet none of Muhammad's battles were in Gaza, nor that far north. So even this Muhammad cannot be that Muhammad. So obviously, as before, this could be another Muhammad, or someone who was referred to as the praised one, which is really what almost every ruler would use, and certainly as a Persian, they would want to make sure that that's his title.
I mean, what's so surprising to me, Dr. J, is that they should know better not to use these kind of claims. I mean, it's very obvious that it contradicts the fact that this is a person who existed after the death of Muhammad. So in essence, they're acknowledging that their history also is wrong, is erroneous. The dating is wrong. And we've been saying this all along.
Yeah. And to say the praised one, which is referring to many times Jesus Christ, is referring, Umar also refers to himself as the praised one. It is a title of ennoblement. And to say that this Muhammad then becomes the name of a prophet in the 8th and possibly the 9th century, redacted back to and taking that name back and imposing it on the 7th century without looking at the environment in the 7th century, you're causing a problem to begin with. You need to make sure that you understand why that praised one or that title was used in the 7th century. That's what we're doing now. Now, before we go, I want to go back to the slide again. Before I go to the next one, notice at the top there where it says Thomas the Presbyter, I put a little star there. Hold on to this. Count how many of those stars you're going to get. You're going to find there's only 5 of them. Of the 16, we need to look. Every time you see a star, that means the word, the title Mehmet is in that context.
Got it.
That's why I'm doing that, all right? You'll see later on at the end of this episode why that's important. So let's go to the next one. This is number 2. And number 2, let's keep to the slide. This is a flyleaf that's written in 636. A flyleaf on a cover, and it's a 6th century Syriac copy of Matthew and Mark's Gospel, right? So it comes from the 6th century writing, and on this flyleaf is written this: in January, the people of Homs, that's in Syria, took the word for their lives, and many villages were ravaged by the killing of the Arabs of Mahmud, known as the Battle of Gabitha or Yarmouk. So obviously this Muhammad, this character, there's the name again. Now this is the Arabic spelling. This is not the Persian spelling, so it is the correct one. Notice, the battle, however, is well documented, but notice that it says that the Arabs, so who are the Arabs in the 7th century? Well, to know that, you need to know where the Arabics are delineated, and they were first delineated by the Romans in the 2nd century. The Romans always knew that the area of Arabia was where you see, you notice on the map that rectangle, red rectangle is. Notice that's the area that all the Arabs came from. It's not at all, it does not include Mecca and Medina. It doesn't include the Hejaz at all.
Yeah, we're talking about the Promised Land in there, and Syria, and also Lebanon.
Lebanon, parts
Turkey,
of Syria, including Damascus, and of course also what is today Israel and Gaza and all the rest. So the battle is well documented, but notice these Arabs are in the 7th. They lived in what is today Jordan, Syria, not down in the Hejaz. That's the first problem. So if you're going to use Arab, make sure you place the Arabs of the 7th century where they are located. And Arabia did not include the Hejaz. And why did it include the Hejaz?
Well,
there's no water.
It's obvious. Yeah, I mean, it's a desert. And again, it's obvious that all of these were added at a later time.
Much later, when they brought finally water. Now, the Arabs defeated the Byzantines, according to this reference, at the Battle of Yarmouk. But notice where Yarmouk is. It's north of Israel. It's in Syria. Look at the map there. I put it there so you can see. Also, according to the standard Islamic narrative, Muhammad died in 632 and never traveled to Syria for any of his battles. So both coming and going, you've got 2 problems with this. It's too late. It's 4 years after he died. He never went to Syria. He certainly never went to Yarmouk. So could this be another 7th century northern Muhammad, or someone who is the praised one again? That's pretty much, you've got him in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong reference.
Exactly. And just for the purpose of helping our viewers understand why is this significant, meaning what we're doing, and how devastating is that to the standard Islamic narrative?
Well, the standard Islamic narrative, obviously written in the 9th and 10th century, as we're going to find, it's not from the 9th and 10th century. It's from the 11th to the 18th century. In one case, even the 19th century. Much, much later redacted back. If you're going to redact it back, get your historical facts straight. Make sure that you don't place them in a place that Muhammad could never have been, and in a time that Muhammad never lived. And also make sure that you give them the right reference. So obviously know that there is, and also if you're going to be writing that late and redacting it back, at least understand what Muhammad meant, the word itself meant, the title itself meant, and find out that this title actually can be traced all the way back to 1400 BC. The Ugaritic writings all refer to him, that's where he's first introduced. So from the 1400 BC all the way up into the 7th century, that's 2100 years, Muhammad was well known, but he was not a man. He was the praised one, and in the later cases, in the latter century, he became Jesus himself, so the Messiah. And and what we're going to find, remember what Mel said, what he told you, getting from A.J. Dios, that most of the Jews believed that the Muhammad of the 7th century were the exilarchs. These were the leaders of the Jews, living in where? Notice where these Jews were living. They were living in what is today Baghdad, just south of Baghdad. in Hira. And so that's what is Iraq. That's Iraq today. So all these exilarchs, 5 different exilarchs that Mel brought up in his segments with you, taking from A.J. Deuce's research, all of these 5 exilarchs lived in the diaspora, lived in what is today Iraq. They were all referred to as the Muhammad because that Muhammad was the Messiah. They thought that he was the Messiah finally come. And after each one died, they chose the next exilarch, and he was the new Muhammad. After he died, the next exilarch.
So it's kind of a title. Basically.
It's a title that was given to the coming Messiah. In every case, they died on. Each one of them died on them, so they had to keep on putting it to the next one who took on that title. So this is why, if you look at the 7th century, on both the Jewish account and both the Christian account, Muhammad was well known. But if you're going to write this from the 11th to 12th and 13th, you're not back in the 7th century. You would not know this. But we know it because we're going back, in cases like Mel and Al-Jidus, we're going back to the writings from the 7th century, which is what we ask all historians to do. If you want to find the man or the place or the event, then go to that time period and then see who that man is or who that title is in that place and who are the ones that are appellated it. In this case, it's the exilarchs, Jewish exilarchs, or it's Jesus the Messiah. The exilarchs believing that the Messiah was yet to come and he is it, and the Christians believe he would come a second time. That's what we now know from the 7th century. It now fits in place. These are all referring to those characters.
Wonderful. For the next episode, what are we going to debunk?
We're going to continue with number 3, and this will be Sophronius in Jerusalem in 637. We're going to look at that. Interestingly, notice this one here, the flyleaf has a star above it. You see the star? That means this is a reference to Muhammad the man. The ones that are coming up next do not have any reference to Muhammad. And in some ways, these are desperation on the Muslims' part. They need to find Muhammad, so they're trying to find anybody that would fit the character. It must be him, without even the name being there. So that's coming up next.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. J. Thank you, everyone. This is Al Fadi. God bless. Take care. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And ring the bell so you will be notified when we release new content. Our mission is to reach Muslims with the gospel of Jesus Christ and help Christians engage with their Muslim neighbors. If you want to join us in this life-changing work, please support us on patreon.com/CIRA International, or just click on the link below.